Hey everybody, welcome back to Sparks Fire and Baling Wire. Today I got my grandpa's old John Deere in here. This is going to be another short-term project. It just needs a couple minor things. The carburetor needs rebuilt and the manifold gaskets are bad. This thing starts really hard. Once it's been running, then it starts alright, but when it's cold, it's really hard to start. And I have a feeling it might be because of those manifold gaskets, or at least I'm hoping. But I'm going to do a compression test too and a couple other basic things to make sure it's alright. This tractor got restored 20 years ago and it's been used. It does need freshening up again. There's a few spots where wasn't enough paint to begin with, especially on the yellow where it's starting to show a little rust. And big scratch here on the front, but I don't remember what happened there, but that needs to be touched up. But that'll all be at a later date. But main thing for now, just want to get it running good again. So we're going to tear into that manifold and carburetor. First item on the agenda will be to get this throttle linkage, choke linkage, and the fuel line. We'll get those disconnected. Next, go ahead and there's 4 bolts hold the intake tube to the carburetor, and then 4 bolts hold the carburetor to the manifold. So we'll get all them off, and then the carburetor should be out. Okay, there's the carburetor out. We'll get that cleaned up. Let the gas run out of it. But get this thing cleaned up. Get it ready for a rebuild kit. I'll start working on getting these manifold bolts out next. Another problem is, I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not. Looks like the sediment bowl is about 3/4 full of water. So I'll get that cleaned out too before we try and run it again. I'll get this exhaust pipe loose before we get too carried away with getting the manifold off. Yeah, if that's out of the way, go back to the manifold bolts. I believe these intake bolts have to come out too to get the manifold out. The 2 halves are bolted together, so it'll all come out of one. This breather tube, or I guess it's just a crankcase vent, it comes off the valve cover and goes down and just opens out the bottom. But need to get that off so I get the manifold out. There it is. Gasket was definitely bad on it. intake side looked okay, so that may not be my hard starting problem. I'll get it cleaned up and find out for sure. Okay, I got the manifold all cleaned up. You can see where it was blowing out the exhaust there. I couldn't see nothing on the intake gasket where it looked like it was leaking, so that was probably not my problem, as far as it's starting anyway. When we restored this tractor, I did replace, this was a new manifold at the time. It's pretty rusty now, but if I remember right, these things are known for cracking somewhere. The original one was broke. So this is a new manifold. That's the only thing that did to that engine when we redid the tractor. That tractor basically got sandblasted, repainted, new tires and decals on it, and that was it. There's virtually no body work, no dents in it. There's a little bit of rust around on the battery box, which is under the seat on a John Deere. So one side of that got replaced. Other than that, the tractor really didn't need a whole lot. Now, one of these envelopes has the manifold kit, and the other one's the carburetor kit. Looks like that's the manifold gaskets. They even sent a parts catalog along. Stapled together, printed out, but still a catalog. I'll flip through it. Contrary Acres from Doniphan, Nebraska. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I actually bought this off eBay. But I have to look them up and find out how close they actually are to me. There's all the carburetor parts. Must be the float in there. Definitely time for a new blade on the knife. And there's the float. I'll put the carburetor stuff aside for the time being. These must be those two gaskets. Be for a different style manifold. Definitely some room for some port work there. Huge difference. I'd have to get the die grinder out, get after that, so we can go racing. Well, I did it. Don't ask me why. But this engine only turns 1200 RPM wide open, so it's not like it's really going to make a big difference. But my toes are wet in the world of port matching now. And I checked the gasket against the cylinder head. It already did match up. If it wouldn't have, I definitely wouldn't have bothered with this, because I was not about to pull the cylinder head off to do that end of it. But it actually matched up perfectly already. So I thought, why not? I'll go ahead and get the intake to match too. There are a few burrs in there from the casting I took out. And these have soaked long enough, so I think now I can get them apart and so I can get those gaskets in. Okay, I got the manifold cleaned up. Got the copper coat on the gaskets. Whenever I'm messing with manifold gaskets, I used to use the copper stuff, so I've had the best luck with that. This one's an aerosol can. I usually use that, but I thought I'd try the stuff in the can, see how it works. Seems like it's alright. I just laid the gaskets on a piece of cardboard and sprayed them. Seemed to go well. Now we can set our high performance ported and polished manifold on here. Semi-polished, I should say. Before I put those nuts on, I'm going to stick a little never sees on there. Stuff might be messy, but it's one of my favorite products. Especially if it's something you think you might ever have to take back apart again. Or if you've ever used stainless steel nuts and bolts, it's pretty much mandatory then. Well, I didn't get as far as I wanted to today. Today is Christmas Eve, by the way. And we're taking off to see some family this afternoon. I got a few things to do yet. So that's pretty well going to wrap up this video. So next time we'll get the carburetor rebuilt. I got that in the ultrasonic cleaner, cleaning that up right now. I'm going to throw a fresh coat of paint on that. I'm not going to worry about the manifold. The intake part of it's pretty good yet, and the exhaust is just going to burn off anyway. So I'll just leave that. But when I rebuild the carb, I'll throw a fresh coat of paint on that and get it back together. I'm going to do a compression test on it. See what the spark plugs look like. Replace them possibly if they need it. Clean up the points, just file them and re-gap them. Everything else should be good. Hopefully it'll be running good after that. So Merry Christmas, everybody. I know it's going to be after Christmas by the time you see this. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and Happy New Year. Catch you next time.